Hi, and welcome back to Utterly Understandable. I've got Hamish today, and Hamish, time varying bombs are something we talk a lot about in the dairy industry, not necessarily unique to dairy, but they certainly have a massive influence on production. And there's something that is not widely understood. So, with that in mind, would you be able to talk us through why time varying and multiple alternative bill of materials, or BOMs as we refer to them, are so important for agricultural disassembly lines?
Sure. Thanks, Robbie. To start with, BOMs or bills of material, they're just a fancy name for a recipe or instructions on how to make a finished good. And like a recipe, they include all the ingredients, the amount of the ingredients, and the other inputs required, like packaging. I'm just going to share a slide to make it a little bit easier to understand. So if we start on the left-hand side of the slide, where I'm going to go through time varying BOMs. So, like the name suggests, they're recipes that vary over time. The reason that they're necessary is if you look at the composition of milk, it varies in fat, protein, and lactose over the lactation cycle of the cow, and also varies by region. Milk production region, and across the season. Whereas if you look at a finished good like whole milk powder, it has a standard fat and protein. And if you exceed these, you're giving away value. And alternatively, if you're under these fat and protein targets, then your product is out of specification and the customer might reject the product. So to deal with this, you essentially have a different recipe or bill of material at different times of the year, which specify different amounts of skimmed milk, cream and permeate, or lactose, in order to have the same composition at the end of in the finished good throughout the year. And so that's shown by two examples there where we're basically varying the fat and protein that's going in to get to that common finished product at the end. So that's time varying BOMs. Now, multiple alternate BOMs are similar, and that again means you have multiple recipes to get to the same finished good. But in this case, you actually vary the ingredients you use. So again, taking whole milk powder as an example, and the process of standardization, you can use permeate, dry lactose, buttermilk, or milk permeate powder to standardize the protein level. The amount you use depends on the composition of both the milk and the ingredients you're using to standardize. The reason this is important is these different ingredients have different costs, with permeate being the cheapest and dry lactose the most costly to use. You therefore have multiple alternate BOMs in order to give your optimization tool choices to manufacture the product in the most cost-effective manner. So that, in a nutshell, is what time varying and multiple alternate BOMs are. Now, the watch out and reason I wanted to talk about them is that most ERP and the majority of planning systems are designed for assembly industries and do not model these types of BOMs. Therefore, they will always struggle in any agricultural disassembly process like dairy or meat, and generally or almost always result in a poor end solution.
So time varying accounts for the differences in the input across the season, and multiple accounts for the different ingredients we can put in to get the same output.
Yes, yeah, that's right, Robbie. Good summary.
And so, just briefly, Hamish, why does the composition change across the season? Why do we need the time varying BOMs?
Yeah, so basically, it's all to do with the requirements of the calf. So like earlier in the lactation cycle, there's a specific mix of fat and protein. I can't remember exactly which way around it goes, but the calf requires more of some components and less of the others. And then as the calf gets older, it needs a different ratio of those components. So it's basically it's a natural process where the milk is varying in relation to the needs of the calf.
Excellent. Interesting. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to share that with us today, Hamish. It's been great having you, and thank you for watching us again on Udderly Understandable.